Let's go on the record. There is this new trend, you may have seen it online, where women are going on TikTok Live, they're acting like robots, and they're repeating the same scripted phrases over and over again, and men are paying them very real money to keep doing it. People think it's funny, people think it's harmless, but what we're actually watching here is a cultural shift that is telling us far more about the digital world and the female identity crisis and the state of masculinity than anybody would like to admit. Before we dive into today's episode, make sure you subscribe, join the family, follow the show. We have new deep dives coming every single Thursday and Sunday, and our conversations get pretty interesting, so make sure you follow along. Let's get into it. In July 2023, videos featuring creators like Pinky Doll, a Montreal-based TikTok streamer, they went viral to the confusion of millions of people. She would sit in front of the camera repeating phrases like "ice cream so good" or "yes, yes, yes" each time somebody sent her a virtual gift. The behavior mimics non-playable characters from video games, or NPCs, those background characters with pre-programmed lines and limited actions. It looks ridiculous at first glance. A girl is sitting, she's robotically making exaggerated sounds like pops, popcorn with a hair straightener, and she responds on command. But beneath the surface, something much deeper is happening here. What we're really seeing is the digital dehumanization of a person. NPC performance strips away spontaneity, personality, depth, and emotion. Essentially, it is reducing somebody down to an automated reaction and an exaggerated sound. It is turning women into caricatures. And because it's happening through a screen, both the viewer and the creator, they're essentially getting desensitized to the fact that a real human being is doing this and is lucrative. Pinky Doll revealed that at the peak of her live streaming, she was making between $2,000 and $3,000 per live stream, and these were from gifts that were triggering her NPC responses. On her highest earning days, she said that she earned up to $7,000 in a single day from a live stream, which was significantly more than she had been making on TikTok before that. The top NPC content creators on TikTok can earn thousands of dollars a day or more, and the platform keeps 50% of the proceeds from the virtual gifts after deducting payments to the app stores and payment processes, and creators receive the other half of the money, converted from stickers to gift coins to digital diamonds, and then cashed out for real money once they reach $100 worth of diamonds. The financial incentive drew hundreds of creators into this trend. Women started imitating Pinky Doll, dressing up as in-game NPCs of famous movie characters, adding creative twists and unique phrases to catch widespread attention. This trend reveals something even more alarming than just a bizarre new way to make money online. And being that we are nearly 2 years later and it is still going strong, this is something we should talk about. Physiologically, this is affecting both sides of the transaction. On the creator side, repeating the same movements and phrases over and over and over again is stimulating the brain's reward pathways in ways that mimic operant conditioning. And operant conditioning is a learning process where behaviors are modified through rewards and consequences. When a behavior is followed by a rewarding stimulus, this behavior is then reinforced and it becomes something that is likely to occur again. What's happening in the NPC creator's brain is micro rewards in the form of virtual gifts, constant approval from viewers, dopamine spikes from financial reinforcement combine to create this powerful feedback. When rewards are received, dopamine neurons in the ventral tegmental area release dopamine into the nucleus accumbens, which is a brain region central to reward processing. Research is showing that dopamine neurons create phasic bursts of activity after the reward presentation during the operant conditioning. These bursts shift from responding to the reward itself to anticipating cues that predict the reward. The more robotic she acts, the more gifts she receives. The more exaggerated her response is, the more attention she gets. Her brain is beginning to associate dehumanized behavior with survival and reward. And the dopamine system that normally helps us learn adaptive behaviors is essentially being hijacked to reinforce a performative unreality. Because these rewards are delivered on a variable ratio schedule, which basically means it's unpredictable timing and amounts, just like slot machines, the behavior becomes even more resistant to extinction. Variable ratio reinforcement is creating some of the strongest behavioral patterns known in psychology. And over on the viewer's side, dopamine hits from sending small gifts combined with the immediate programmed reaction from the creator, they are training the brain to see the woman not as a complex human, but as a controllable character who exists to respond on command. Research on reward variability is showing that the modern digital products, including live streaming, gaming, social media, online activities, they are utilizing multiple sources of reward variability to create addictive engagement patterns. The intermittent nature of responses combined with the immediate feedback loop is creating a dopaminergic signal that parallels gambling and substance addiction. This is the same mechanism behind slot machines and adult live streaming content, but it's cloaked in a layer of humor and irony that makes people dismiss the seriousness of it. The viewer gets control over another person's actions, immediate gratification, dopamine release with limited effort, and connection without vulnerability, intimacy without responsibility. This is textbook parasocial interaction, but on steroids. Let's talk about the illusion of connection here. We've talked about parasocial relationships before, which are these one-sided emotional connections with media figures where one person devotes their time, emotion, and attention while the other party is completely oblivious to that individual's existence. Research in the last decade shows an explosive growth in parasocial studies, with more research being published between 2016 and 2020 than in several decades before that combined. The explosion of social media platforms, live streaming, influencer culture has created a new generation of parasocial relationships that are more interactive and intimate than they ever have been before. Parasocial relationships on social media can promote feelings of connection and community, but they can also adversely impact mental health through negative self-comparison, leading to increased loneliness and even a distorted expectation of what a real relationship should look like. Studies show that people who perceive themselves as marginalized or who lack social support around them are more likely to form intense parasocial relationships. The lack of real social connection correlates with loneliness. So these individuals are then turning to social media personalities and they are forming one-sided emotional bonds that essentially feel safer for them than real relationships. And here is the major problem in that. NPC streaming takes this dynamic and it weaponizes it. And instead of just passively watching someone and forming this emotional attachment, the viewer can now purchase reactions. They are controlling the creator's behavior. They can send a gift, she responds. They can send another, she performs again. It's really interaction without any form of relationship, and it's response without any reciprocity. It's control masquerading as connection. And for men engaging in NPC streams, many aren't just looking for entertainment. They are starved for interaction. They are getting a dopamine hit from controlling someone else's reactions. And really, it is a counterfeit version of connection. And instead of developing meaningful conversations, taking accountability for growth, becoming leaders, developing emotional intelligence, these people are retreating into parasocial control, which, like we just said, is intimacy without responsibility and it's attention without risk. And culturally, this trend is revealing something that is so disturbing in our culture, and that is that today women are caught between digital ideals of the real world and their expectations of feminine identity. It has become so fragmented that many young women, they find it easier to play a role than to be a person, and performing a script, it feels safer than showing their real self, and that is a character who is easier to monetize than complexity. And in a world where femininity is constantly criticized, commodified, and confused, it makes sense that some women want to escape into a role where they can control the reaction. But what is the cost that it comes at? It is high. And when women perform like robots long enough, they begin to detach from authenticity. They suppress their real emotional responses for exaggerated, artificial ones. The brain starts adjusting to the performance and everything becomes for the audience. That line between entertainment and identity becomes thin and it blurs. And in the broader female identity confusion, we've talked about it recently, all of the different aesthetics, the coquette aesthetic, the baddie aesthetic, the soft girl aesthetic, the trad wife aesthetic, the NPC is essentially just the next version of a bigger crisis that women are trying on identities like outfits because culture has stripped them from their foundations. 21% of TikTok's global user base is between the ages of 18 and 24, and the majority of that age group is female. Another 25% of TikTok users are between 10 and 19 years old. These are generations that are growing up watching women dehumanize themselves for money and normalizing it as entrepreneurship. Speaking of simulations, if you've been staring at your phone for so long that even you feel like an NPC, this is probably the perfect moment to shout out the sponsor of today's episode, Lumiere Label. Because listen, if you're watching hours of live streaming or scrolling through digital chaos and your eyes feel like they may be melting off of your face, it is probably time to protect them and look good while you're doing it. Lumiere Label is a blue light frame that will make you look like a functioning human being even if you've been doom scrolling since breakfast. They reduce eye strain, they block harmful blue light, and they have interchangeable magnetic lenses that will snap on and off so fast you will feel like you have unlocked a cheat code. Use the code on the record at www.lumierelabel.com for $20 off. And don't worry, no NPC behavior is required. Alright, let's jump back into it. Let's talk about the deeper issue here. Where is this heading? The deeper issue with NPC streaming is that it signals the direction digital culture is heading. We are moving towards a world where authenticity is replaced by performance, where reactions can be purchased, where identity can be reduced to an aesthetic, and where human interaction becomes so transactional. And where femininity becomes performance, women lose connection to themselves. When masculinity becomes spectatorship, men lose connection to leadership. Both genders get pulled further and further away from who they were created to be. And studies on commercialization of influencer content, they show that overly commercialized content negatively impacts parasocial relationships and weakens purchase intentions. But more importantly, it weakens authentic human connection. Don't miss this. This NPC trend is not just entertainment, it's a symptom of the digital world where both men and women are drifting into roles that keep them disconnected from their God-given identity. This is a world where femininity becomes performance and masculinity is essentially becoming voyeurism. It's a world where relationships are replaced with simulations, and we need to talk about it. So let's go off the record for a second. If you are a woman listening to this, hear me very clearly. You're not an aesthetic, you're not a gimmick, you are not a character. You're a daughter of the living God with depth, identity, and authority. And you don't need to perform to be valuable. You don't need to entertain to be seen. You don't need to exaggerate yourself to earn attention. And you definitely don't need to reduce yourself to automated responses to survive financially in the digital economy. And the brain is getting dopamine from the performance, but your soul will starve. This is why so many young women are feeling anxious. They're feeling empty, detached after these live streams, after spending hours performing for an audience. If you're a man listening to this, hear this too. You're not created just to consume women-like content. You're created to protect, to honor, and to build, and you don't need to retreat into the digital worlds because the real world connection feels scary. The body craves relationships, but the screen offers counterfeits. This is why so many men feel drained or depressed after participating in these streams. You were built for responsibility and real intimacy and real purpose. None of us need to be NPCs. We're created to be fully alive, fully aware, fully human, and when you strip someone of humanity and you turn them into a caricature, you remove from them the dignity God put in them. And when you separate people from real community, you weaken their ability to grow. When you replace connection with artificial attention, you cultivate loneliness. And when you encourage people to perform instead of become, you confuse identity. And now it's your turn to go on the record. Comment below. Let me know, what do you think about this? Have you seen this trend? If so, what are your thoughts? And of course, don't forget to subscribe, join the family. We have new deep dives coming every single Thursday and Sunday. And don't forget to share this episode with somebody who may need to hear it. We need to bring humanity back into our digital worlds. And that starts with truth. It starts with clarity and identity. This is Robbie on the record, and I will see you in the next episode.